Marvelous Marvin Hagler was one of the most talented, versatile, and underrated fighters of the last century. Hagler was in many ways the perfect boxer, a poised and intelligent tactician who possessed a large reserve of aggression and unrelenting determination. Talented in almost every aspect of the game, Hagler went toe-to-toe with masterful outfighter Sugar Ray Leonard, pound for pound greatest infighter of all time Roberto Duran, and terrifying powerhouse Thomas the Hitman Hearns. He beat all except Leonard, which went to a controversial decision. To top it all off, Hagler was comfortable fighting with both feet forward, and seemed to naturally transition between the two in a way that looked entirely effortless. Hagler began most of his fights boxing from the outside range, wearing his opponents down before going in for the kill. Naturally right-handed, Hagler still fought in a southpaw stance. This meant he could deliver some incredibly powerful shots with his lead hand. His jab was a unique blend of techniques. The setup was similar to Gazelle punch, where you shuffle forward into your lead hand attack. Gazelle punches usually involve loading most of your weight onto your lead leg, turning your torso to increase the distance between your lead hand and your target, and then shuffling forward to cover massive distance. Usually, this movement is used in tandem with a hook punch, or uppercut. In contrast, Hagler shuffled into a near linear punch. This loaded shuffle provided more distance and power, and the tight angle of the straight punch made the movement more likely to hit. The constant movement of his head to different sides of the center line allowed Hagler to non-telegraphically load his punches, as well as keep himself a moving target. But maybe the greatest advantage this punch afforded Hagler was his ability to cover insane distances. This punch was a precursor to many finishing blows, as Hagler chased after a desperate and beaten competitor. Beyond the fact that this was an incredibly powerful strike for a jab, Hagler was able to quickly pivot off of his punch to evade counters and follow up. Gazelle punches tend to require the fighter to land hard on their front foot and take additional time regaining the balance from the wide swing. But like his overall style, Hagler's jab was a unique blend of aggression and tactical precision. His powerful lead hand and precision footwork tended to hurt his opponents to his left, and this is where Hagler's effortless and natural ability to operate in both stances gained him his greatest advantage. Unlike the many multi-stance fighters who have been reviewed so far, Hagler let his opponents change stances for him, and then simply adjusted in a way they didn't expect. Rather than use stance-switching footwork to confuse his opponents and trick them into predicting the wrong technique, Hagler simply let his opponents circle away at an angle they felt they were safe, only to surprise them with a small step forward and a thunderous lead left hook. If Hagler only used one stance, he would need time to pivot and readjust. But fortunately for him, he didn't have this vulnerability. Hagler tended to infight in the later rounds, after wearing his opponents down from the outside, a strategy entirely opposite from one of his prime rivals, Roberto Duran. Hagler smothered his opponents and kept his guard tight, looking to force his way inside their guard rather than grapple. He would then maneuver his head, shoulder, or arm underneath his competitor's chin. This did two things. First, it raised his opponent's center of balance, creating stability for himself and taking it away from his competitor. Second, it forced his opponent's head up, leaving it open to attack, as well as exposing his midsection. Hagler's primary technique was to wedge his head into the crook of his opponent's neck and shoulder to protect himself, and then use his own shoulder and arm to deny his opponent this same protection. At the same time, he would press close to smother and trap his opponent's arms. With his opponent in this vulnerable position, Hagler would disengage and throw a tight hook before weaving away to his opponent's opposite shoulder. At first, it may seem strange that Hagler was able to score so many knockouts from such a close range. But once again, his familiarity with both stances would prove one of his best weapons. Hagler put force into his close-range punches by shifting. If his opponents charged after him, Hagler would disengage and shift into a powerful hook. And if they backed up, he would take advantage of the new space to shift forward, putting the full weight of his body into each punch. This was the brutal conclusion to Hagler's strategy. One that involved wearing down his opponents with long-range attacks from a dominant lead hand. before prying open their guard and attacking them from the inside, and then finally committing all of his force to knock them out cold. A strategy perfectly blending his skills as an intelligent boxer and a devastatingly powerful puncher. Marvin Hagler should be studied in depth by anyone looking to get better at boxing, or really almost any other style of martial arts. I encourage everyone to check out his fights. You'll be happy you did. This is the last of the technique breakdowns for the 4 kings of boxing. But don't worry, each of their fights against each other will be covered at a later date. I've left a playlist of the other 3 king breakdowns at the end of the video. I've got another video coming out soon. It's a little different, but I think you guys are really gonna like it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and if you're interested in building more power in your strikes, you can check out my book, Power of the Pros. It comes with half an hour of exclusive fighter breakdowns. I've left a link below. From the Modern Martial Artist, this has been David Christian, wishing you happy training.